Whoa, test, one. Yo, hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Okay. Damn, come on now. We gotta give one more. Can we do that again? I wasn't feeling that energy. So how's everybody doing today? Good? All right, that's good, that's good. Look, I'm gonna keep this short because this man literally needs no introduction. He's been, so transformative in all the things that he's done. Look, ladies and gentlemen, please stand up, get out of your seats, give a warm welcome to the Don Lemon. Yes, sir.
What's up, man? How are you?
All right.
What's going on? Oh, if I would have worn mine, had I known.
You have these too? Look, these only come out on special
Well,
occasions.
I don't have all the writing. I've got the colors, but mine aren't that. You got the hookup.
These are Virgil's, man.
Those are nice.
All right, I got
Hey,
it.
guys, good morning. How are you? The first day of Black Week, right? Or the beginning? Right? Yesterday, there was
First day
pre-thing
yesterday, yeah. Yes, the first day of sessions.
Well, I'm here, so this is the first day.
Now it's starting. We start now. We start now.
Black Week starts now. It's good to see you guys.
Look, let's start first by saying this, right? Like, we're gonna start a little bit about who you are, Don. And I gotta tell you, man, when seeing you over your career, I'm sure everyone here has been watching Don for many of years, and I felt like the moment we got to see the real Don was New Year's Eve, right, y'all? Like New Year's Eve, I was like, oh shit, Don is turning up tonight. Don had the earring in, he had the drinks, and he was getting loose. And that was the Don. We love you, Don.
Yes.
But that night it was like, I'm watching CNN tonight, because this is where I know I'm gonna get TV. So let's start from the beginning, Don, because I would love to know, I think the people would like to know, who is Don like in high school? Like, did you have was we the brush cut? We did a little like, who was Don?
I was that guy that you see on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
I'm always the life of the party. Man, so I got to high school. I'd gone to a private Catholic school. And so when I got to high school, I didn't want to go to Catholic school anymore. And so I told my parents, I don't want to go to Catholic school anymore. I want to go to public school. And then the halfway through the summer, I was like, oh shit, I made a mistake. I want to go back to it. It was too late because they had filled out all the things. And so I went to public school, and that's when I started wilding out. Not in a bad way. Like I really.
New Year's Eve, Don.
Yeah, yes, because my elementary school was a black Catholic school in Louisiana, but it was like a military school. We lined up and our hands on the shoulder and by height, and and we walked to class every day, and we lined up and prayed for everything. And so when I got to high school, it was none of that. It was public school. People just walking around. I was like, you guys just walk to class like this? You mean just like, no? We were in lines, right? Next to the wall. And then, if you pass the second graders, you move over your line. And it's not like you don't move over like this. You do this.
Side step.
So the nuns did not mess around. And so when I got to high school, I was like, oh, everything is not this restricted. I can be myself. I started dressing. I got best dressed in high school.
Okay.
And then I became me.
We gotta see. We need some of those photos at some point. I gotta see those.
Yeah.
So tell us then, who was Don at CNN?
Corporate Don.
Yeah, Corporate Don. That's what we calling it? All right, Corp Don.
It was a weird place to be in for me because, it was when I believe cable was at its zenith, when I was, especially the last couple of years during George Floyd and the pandemic. We were, and Donald Trump, we were really hit our stride, and we had the most profitable, the best ratings. But I was Corporate Don, and there were certain things that I couldn't say and couldn't do, and so I had to fit into a system. And that system wasn't always supportive of me, and it wasn't always supportive of us. It didn't always understand my issues or your issues or, any, especially for underserved communities. They tried, but everything had to be filtered down through the corporation. So I was in a very odd position because that's just not who I am, as you could see on New Year's Eve. And I like to, I just like to tell the truth. I think the news should be a place where people tell the truth and you can have some personality and you can, as long as you're stating factual information, It shouldn't matter. Ideology shouldn't matter. None of those things should matter. So I was a person who was inhibited just because of how the system had set it up. And then towards the end, it just got worse.
So let's talk about that, how the system is set up, because I think many people in this room can probably experience that on a multitude of levels. I know that for many years throughout the beginning of my career, probably first 10, 11 years of my career, I felt as though when I showed up in spaces, I couldn't be my natural, authentic self. So we end up code switching, right? And code switching is massively exhausting. I mean, do you think that to some degree you were holding back because of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but this was code switching on a whole different level while trying to be authentic, right? And thinking like, okay, well, I'm doing my best, so I must be doing okay. But it was code switching and also at every moment, second and third and fourth guessing yourself. I don't know if you guys have ever, because when you're in most of you, when you're in your work environment, you don't have to think about an entire world watching you in more than 200 countries around the world, and there are employees that are in war zones, and if I say something, I could put them in danger and all. So, or if I say that, how's the right going to react? What are the critics going to say? What if it ends up in the New York Times? All of these things go through your head as you are questioning a congressperson or a president or whomever, or just having an interview, or you're just having a conversation with your co-anchor, and then anything can be misconstrued, it can be taken out of context, and so it's a whole mind game. I would say a mind with the letter that comes before G. And so, yeah, and then...
You could go there too if you want to cuss. I mean,
okay, so it's a mind fuck. So,
be welcome.
But, and I know I can cuss now, right? On my,
look,
I love it.
Don, you know how I speak, Don. These people know how I speak.
But you think about that, and the corporation uses it to their advantage. So if you even in a conversation, like even on a show like The View, I'm shocked now that people are like upset because people on The View are stating their view. I mean, that's the name of the fucking show. Like, what are you talking about, right? And so if you're doing a show on a news network, or you're hosting a primetime show or whatever, this is about different people and how they feel about things. But at the end of the day, the corporation or the company can use it in whatever way to promote you or to get rid of you. And so, I found that it was a weird position for me because I was the only black person, man, woman, or whatever, in prime time on any cable network anywhere. And so I would get it from the left, the right, white, black, everybody, gay, straight. They all wanted me to represent them. And that's a lot of pressure to be under. So it was tough. That was tough. I like this much more.
And we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So let's.
But I also do get to be advocates for people. I couldn't be an advocate really there because you're supposed to be impartial and non-biased and all of those things and objective. And so now I can say, I speak for black people. I speak for underserved people. I speak for people in Gaza. I speak for I can speak for people now and state my point of view. And if you don't like it, fuck it.
I love it. I love it. Can we? Yes to that. Don, I gotta tell you, Don, this feels weird. Like you're the journalist and I'm a creative. I'm sitting here with my notes. I told
what's her name? I forget. Whoever. Megan. I said, this is gonna be weird because I'm used to asking the questions. But you know what? You gotta get notes. You can't. It's okay to have notes.
No, I was kind of worried
because unless you set your phone not to go off, you're gonna have to keep doing. It's okay to have notes.
We can take some notes after this. That's it. Thank you. All right, so check this out, Don. Let's talk about the decision you made to step out now and do your own thing, right? Because I'm sure everybody here watches Don, right? All right.
Who's a lemon head? Anybody? Is there a lemon head?
Come on now.
Who's part of the Lemon Nation? Lemon Nation strong.
So let's talk about it, man. What made you make that decision? Because I think a lot of people were like, okay, where's Don gonna go next? What shows he gonna end up next? And then you came out and I'm gonna actually just do my own thing.
Couple of different things. Number one, it turned, I have this, if you watch the show, I have this saying, old people be knowing, right? When whoever came up with the saying that, the Lord works in mysterious ways, like sometimes you think something is bad, it turns out to be a blessing in disguise. Oh my God. That was the right time. If you see what's happening in corporate media right now, God just said, okay, we need to get you out of here. Now, I didn't like my exit. I didn't like how they tried to ruin my reputation and lie about me and spread rumors to the paper because they needed a predicate. If you're going to get rid of the gay black man, the only black man, was in prime time on TV, then you gotta come with the ammo, right? And so I couldn't defend myself because it's contractually I couldn't. And so they hold it over here. Do you want the money? You can't put out a statement. And so, that was really tough for me. But
wait, is that for a certain amount of time? Because I know some of those contracts.
Yeah, I'm still under
Okay,
contract.
all right, because I was gonna say next question is like, well, can we talk about all right? How much longer we got, Don? Because there's Black Week next year too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the insider talk, right?
All I'm saying is I like Rihanna.
Okay.
Bitch better have my money. So pay me what you owe me. So I'm still there, but I had to renegotiate my exit because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't open a lemonade stand. I could do nothing. And so it took me a year in order to renegotiate the exit of my deal so that it wasn't in direct competition or conflict with what CNN does. And so when people said, why aren't you on TV? It's like, because there isn't another job that's going to pay me what CNN is paying me right now. And I don't want to break the contract. And I have a contract. I signed a contract. I can't go and find another job on television. Okay, it's just not in the cards for another year or so.
I was assuming that was like a bit of a non-compete.
It's a non-compete. That's standard. That's, I'm not telling any secrets. You guys know. You have non-competes. If you guys signed a contract, you have a non-compete.
Man,
so
I
have a
went to the
non-compete.
U.S. Supreme Court for my non-compete. It was serious.
I don't think those non-competes, I think they're illegal. And I believe especially it should all be right to work states. You can't take someone's, income from them. So it was that. And then I needed a voice during the election. And I thought that I had a strong enough voice that I could have an impact on people. And people were asking me, God, I don't know where to turn to at night. At 10 o'clock, I used to turn to you to figure out whatever. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to come up with my own thing. And I did, and I didn't, I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then, even my therapist was like, are you crazy? If you started your own thing, I would watch you. A lot of people will watch you. I'm like, okay. So I did it, and it's crazy. Thank you. I got to tell you guys, it's so weird. Like, I was on this giant network, and now I'm on digital and I'm on social. I went to the dentist yesterday on the phone with my therapist because I believe, I think the 10th is mental health week or whatever, or mental health day. I believe in getting a therapy, whatever you need, antidepressants, whatever you need to help. And there should be no stigma, especially for black people, for people of color. No stigma on seeking therapy. Absolutely. The Lord helps those who help themselves. Because I know people say, I just need my pastor, I just need whatever. But the Lord helps those who help themselves. So I believe in that. So I'm on the phone with my therapist, city biking to the dentist. And every crosswalk I stopped at.
Hold up. You're riding a city bike.
Oh, I ride a city bike.
All right. Y'all spot him out there. I want to see some tags.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's like, Don Lemon, hey. And I was like, this didn't happen when I was on CNN. If I walked down the street in a suit, maybe. But now, I'm really reaching people. And it's not like an ego thing. Sorry, no, I had to catch myself because
what had happened was.
No, it's not an ego thing because I would get overwhelmed, but it's like, you're really having an impact on. And so I was just, in those moments, I'm grateful. I just go, thank you. And I'm go, okay, I'm glad I did this. Keep going. And then as I say every day when there's a problem or something, I just say, thank you, God, or thank you, universe, for making me aware that this problem has already been taken care of. And the problem is taken care of.
Come here, man. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about this for a second. Let's
Yes.
talk about the learning curve.
Ooh.
Because, they don't want to say social media influencer. You're a journalist, and now you're a creator.
It's weird, yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, This is wrapping at 9:55. He's going to a room upstairs. He's doing the show from 10 to 10:55, and then go to another thing.
On the nose, Hakeem Jeffries is waiting for me at the Capitol.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, why are you at the Capitol? Because y'all are shut down. What's going on?
So
yeah.
what is that? I mean, you had this whole corporate structure, people running left and right. All you had to do was get down, maybe, I don't know, sit down in front of your desk. You got your notes, and you're good. Now you're like, he came in here earlier. He's like, I need to set up my lights, my bit. I'm like, God damn, you are your one-man show. So like, how is that learning curve?
Well, look, you got to scale your business, right? And so I scale my business. I keep it tight. And I actually look. You know, I came from a system where they would call me in the morning or email me and whatever. We'd have a morning meeting, an afternoon meeting, and they'd say, "What do you like?" And I'd say, "This, this, this, and this. Now go make TV." And then I'd come in and I'd be like, I don't want that. Let's whatever. And everybody would go run and do it. And then, put the makeup on and put the mic on. And I would just sit there and the teleprompter would roll. And now I'm like, lights, I got to log in. What's the link? All those things. And I love it because I know everything there is to know now. You can be your own network without all the trappings. And guess what? No one gives a flying flip about cameras spinning around a set, about lights, about people with pancake makeup on and cocktail dresses and suits. Nobody cares. They care about the information they're getting and if they like and trust the person who's bringing them the information. And that's what companies are finding out right now. They will never admit that because they think, oh, we got this big brand. Blah, blah. Part of that's true. But the most part, companies are just not brands. It's the people who make those brands. And if you don't have the people, I don't care how much AI you have, it's not going to have the personality of a real person. And so I don't care how much Coca-Cola is great, but it takes a person had to come up with that formula. People have to drink Coca-Cola, right? And so a brand can only get you so far, but you got that far because of the people who helped you to create that brand. Yeah.
So let's talk about this independence for a second, man, because now that you have this freedom and sense of like the ability to say and do what you want, let's talk about truth-telling, right? Yep. And so how does that play out now? Because I'll tell you, like, I talk a lot of shit on social media. And
I know.
I've called out a lot of folks. It caused a lot of drama. And I have people who email my CEO, we should have his head. I have people in my DMs talking crazy shit. I could not imagine what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. So now having this freedom and you can go and say the things that you want, you are leaving yourself open to a whole slew, like a ton of people who will slide in your DMs and say some hateful stuff. So how do you manage all of this?
Oh, well, I've been dealing with that for years, except I had a system around me that would protect me from it, right, or would hire security and all that. So now I have to do it myself. No one's ever going to stop me from, as long as I have breath in my body, from telling the truth and saying my piece. So, now, look, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I can be harmed. If I go out to certain places, I have security. I probably have to, if this continues to go the way that it's going, I'll probably have to have security a lot more than I have now. Because it's just amazing to me how much I get recognized on the streets now. Shocking because, again, when I was in that big, giant corporate company, it happened, but not as much as it happens now. Like on the subway, young people, old people. And then I went to a comedy show at Madison Square Garden the other night, and this guy walked up to me, and this was right after Charlie Kirk. And I had my say about Charlie Kirk, like, I'm sorry, no one should die that way. It was awful. The widow, the kids, like, that is awful. But let me tell you why certain people didn't feel the same way about him because of the things that he said and stood for. They did not like that. So I'm at Madison Square Garden, and this guy said, hey, you Don Lemon? I said, yeah. And he goes, you're a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. And I said, okay. I said, that's how you want to greet me? He goes, yeah, fuck you. I said, you know what, you too? And he goes, oh, fuck you. I said, yeah, your mama. It broke him. It broke him. He's like, my mom. I'm not going to tell you what I said, but I went to the earth's crust. And he and his girlfriend got in my face. How dare you talk about his mom? I was like, so now you're the victim? I said, you walked up to me and insulted me. And so I'm giving you the same energy that you gave to me, and now you're the victim? I don't have time for your, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't have time for your white lady tears right now. No, that's what his girlfriend was doing, in my face. And I was like, lady, get out of my face. You walked up to me and insulted me. Well, the whole time, I should have had a security guard there, but I didn't realize it. I didn't like you. I'm just living in this new space. Madison Square Garden saw it on the camera. And they came downstairs, and they called security, and they said, hello, Mr. Lemon, we're sorry, we saw what happened, blah, blah, blah. And they said, we're going to go find that guy, and he's going to get kicked out. And here are 4 tickets for you and your friends for the suite level.
I saw that post.
Yes.
I saw that post.
And I was like, okay. But I don't mind, like, but don't, if you're going to approach me, fine, but don't play the victim after you insulted me, because this is not the comment section. This is real life. And I don't have to worry about CNN. I don't have to worry about video being in there like, oh, CNN anchor. It's like, no, Don Lemon, call someone out on the street. Okay, I'm fine with that, because I'm gonna light your ass up if you come to me.
Y'all heard it here first.
But you know what I mean? That's just a saying when people play victim, you know, that white lady tears thing. So I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just saying, you guys get it. Yeah.
So let's talk about, how do you define truth right now, right? Because I think, you know, with misinformation and spin proliferating, excuse me, do you see truth as a fixed target? Because with so many different platforms out here right now, and so many people telling so many different stories, it's like hard to tell who's being honest and who's not.
You said, is it a fixed target?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the truth is a fixed target. I think we have to have a shared reality of truth, a shared sense of truth, and shared sense of what reality is, what facts are, right? We don't have that right now, because truth doesn't matter. What matters is what, you know, the king or the dictator says, or the dear leader says. And when the dear leader of this country lies so much, people don't know what to believe. So that's the one thing that I think that we need to improve in this, you know, new digital, social, independent media journalist phase, is we need to have more truth tellers, more people who incorporate facts into what they're doing. Because the most successful people in these spaces are people who don't have to rely on truth and facts. And believe it or not, those are the people who really get all the big sponsorships. And I find really interesting, if you're anywhere near the center, or people think that you're to the left, then they, oh, we can't, because no, we can't get political. We don't like politics. But then you can be really far to the right, and you can just lie about things. You can say that the insurrection was a walk in the park. You can say that vaccines don't work. You can say all of these things, and people throw you their money. And so what does that say about, and then they lie and say, well, on the left, or in the center, no, politics, we can't, brand safety, whatever. On the right, you know, you have people throwing money at Joe Rogan or whomever to advertise on the program, because they, you know, they don't care about that part. So what is that? That's like, that's an sort of internalized censorship because of ideology. And so I think we can do a better job at injecting facts into this space. Because when I worked in corporate media, we had standards and practices. And if we said something wrong, if it was misleading, or if it was factually inaccurate, good evening, everybody. I said this last night. It was wrong. This is the right information. I apologize. We made a mistake. We corrected it, and we move on. No one does that anymore. No one does that in these spaces. And people don't know what to believe. So, because the media system is so siloed right now. So, and I don't know if it's going to get any better, especially now with the merger and the consolidation of media. Media's consolidating, and it's consolidating to the right. If you look at Larry Ellison, is buying Paramount, who owns CBS News. You saw what happened with 60 Minutes. He's probably going to buy Warner Brothers, which owns CNN, so that may become conservative. CBS is becoming conservative. They hired Barry Weiss, who's a conservative, who runs the Free Press, who's never run, you know, an organization like that ever, but it's conservative. The same thing may happen to CNN if they do that. TikTok, Allison's going to buy that. Rupert Murdoch already owns Fox. You see what's happening with ABC and George Stephanopoulos and Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, scary.
And the Pentagon is now saying we need to approve reporters' information that they put out there. What is this? That's not America. That is nowhere near the First Amendment. So we're sliding into very dangerous territory. And if I can just take this opportunity to say, every day I wake up for the past couple weeks and I wonder why I don't walk out my apartment and the streets aren't flooded with people protesting, especially conservatives. When you see them rounding up people in Chicago and in Portland and whatever, and then just throwing them to the ground, busting their heads, I don't have to show you a warrant, arresting lawmakers for trying to help people out in court. What's going on? If they come for our Latino brothers and sisters, our immigrant brothers and sisters with documented or undocumented migrants, they're going to come for you next.
Let's talk about that.
So I don't know why people aren't in the streets. I don't know.
Let's talk about that. We're going to do a little pivot then. Last week, I had a dream, right? And you know those dreams where you wake up and you swear to God it was real. Yeah. Right? So I had this dream where I was walking out of my building and there was like tons of people in the street. Everyone was protesting. Black, brown, white, every color. And I remember holding my daughter's hand. And I remember police cars pulling up and just taking black people, putting them on the ground, arresting people, and throwing them in the cars, in this fear of holding my daughter's hand and rushing and running and trying to protect her. And so my question to you is, do you think we are next? Do you think because they are rounding up Latinos now, and they are doing it in a way to desensitize us, to make us feel like this is okay?
Yeah.
And I have this feeling that black people are next.
Yeah. Yeah. Black people are next. Clarence Thomas is already going after same-sex marriage, so gay people are next. I'm just telling you, we're in a very dangerous place right now, and it's almost too late. And people are scrolling. By the way, my social media team, my other people's social media teams are telling me, hey, anytime you post about ICE, it gets suppressed. We've noticed the difference in the algorithm. And when I talk to people, I'm like, have you seen the images? No, I haven't seen that. I'm like, you haven't seen those images? Did you see them? They don't see them on mainstream media. They don't see the images. You see a report about the National Guard or ICE going to Chicago. But you don't see all the videos of them arresting older people and arresting women and throwing men to the ground and people who are here legally or who are citizens. You don't see all those people getting caught up and them really brutalizing people. America is about due process, whether you are a legal citizen here or not. That's the whole point of a democracy, right? And this country was built on immigrants, right? It was built on immigrants. So why are you trying to criminalize every immigrant? And then for the people who say, well, I didn't think they were going to do me. I thought it was going to be, they're just the criminals. Like all the people who are out there who are like, I will vote for Donald Trump. And then,
that's fucked up.
and then he gets into office and I don't speak Spanish. Well, no, they arrested my husband. It's like, what did you think? Of course they're going to arrest your husband and your aunt or whatever. And so I think we're in a very dangerous place right now. Yes, they're coming for us next. But we can't let that stop us from, it can't make us afraid. Because my open yesterday or the day before on the show was, I think it was yesterday. I talked about, Rosa Parks and Marsha P. Johnson and, Che Guevara and Gloria Steinem. And you guys, for those of you who are old enough, Bella Abzug, remember her with the hats here in New York? Those people, and I talked about my parents and my grandparents and my uncles and whatever. Those people had no money. They had no resources. They had fewer rights than we do. They had fewer protections than we do. All of a sudden, we've gotten so comfortable. We want Birkin bags. We want Mercedes. We don't, and we're not thinking about all of that shit goes away and it doesn't matter if you live under authoritarian rule. None of that matters. You don't have freedoms of protection. So I think that comfort is, it's like a balm or a salve that we think it's a poison. Comfort is a poison. And I may be offending some people, but you have to be willing to sacrifice something or you're going to lose everything. And so if they're coming for my Latino brothers and sisters, that means they're already coming for me. They're just the first ones to go because they are the people who have the least authority and agency right now. So they're testing it. They can get away with that. And people look and say, oh yeah, they shouldn't be here. That's the other. They're illegal. They're the other. But they're not. They're human beings. And so then they're going to come for the black people and they go, you know, they were out there and they should have just complied with the police and they're out there shooting up and doing whatever. That's going to be the excuse for that. And then they're going to come for the gays. They're going to, you know, it's just against God, and the Bible says. And then they're going to come for women. Well, the Lord's, you know, the Bible says that the place for a woman is in the home, and they should be in the home, shouldn't be working. They're going to come for everybody. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but it is the absolute truth. If you look at any culture or society or period in history at how it was taken over by authoritarianism or whatever ism it is, it always starts that way, with suppressing free speech, suppressing rights, dictatorial rule. The leader is never wrong, can't be criticized, shut down the information. And that's where we are right now. We're already in fascism.
Thank you for that. So let me ask you this then, right? Because I think in these moments, I think we had the last 5 years this feeling of, you know, people used social media as a platform to step out and say things and be vocal, and it was a beautiful thing to say. I think we're now moving into the space where people are uncomfortable with, can I say something? I don't know if I should do this post because now I have to worry about my employer. And a moment ago, you talked about, you know, making sure that, hey, now's the time to speak up. Now's the time to kind of get out and protest. So how do we do that, right? And how do you also protect yourself? Because the administration is going after media. You could say that your popularity is growing. I see your numbers growing every single day. And now you have more reach and more people you can influence. Are you worried about that moment where they come and come for you?
Of course, yes. Okay. And, you know, and that's why I think we need our own networks, our own platforms. I love YouTube, but we need our own, right, to be able, because there's no system that's built for us, like the people who own all of the media now, especially the conservatives. If you know, Fox News could say something about me, and then Sean Hannity talks about it all day on the radio, and then the New York Post picks it up, and then the Daily Mail picks it up, and then all the conservative sites will pick it up, and then whatever. But there is no system like that for a center or for the left or for black people. Mm-hmm. And so we need to start building our own media ecosystems. I had a meeting with my sales team last night, and they were talking about the difference between selling for right-wing influencers or streamers versus left-wing. The right-wing, I mean, they got it. They got a whole system around them. You know, the Megyn Kellys of the world, the Tucker Carlsons of the world, they're all with this red seat or red, I forget what it's called, which I think Fox bought. And so they've got their own system that's set up over there. There's none of that. The left doesn't have that. Center folks don't have that. Black people don't have that. And so they're missing out. You know, you got salespeople for, I'm just picking up like, you know, maybe Leo Burnett, which is a black agency, whatever. They're still selling television and radio. When was the last time you guys are older maybe, when was the last, I can't remember the last time I watched cable news. I can't, do you see your kids ever turn on TV?
Zero, absolutely not.
Yeah, so I'm just saying we need to, it's pretty scary. So yeah, do I worry about it? Yes. Does it make me immobile? No, it actually motivates me to keep going.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to see you on Subculture app soon, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course.
So here's another thing. We have some time running out, but there are a multitude of people here from brands, some of the biggest brands in the world, some of the biggest creative agencies and media agencies in the world. I think we are moving in a really interesting time because even myself, I'd have brands who, some of my best work of my career the past 6 months dropped. Like, oh, I don't want to touch that. It looks too black. what's the advice you would actually give to the people in the room and the brands in the room about how we move forward in this moment and the importance of standing up for right as opposed to what we see a multitude of people do as being silent or taking the Target approach, and we all see what happened there?
Well, I think brands have to learn to have a backbone. I think they have to learn to take a stand. I think that, look, if you're gonna, I think the best place to advertise is news and politics because that's what people are watching, especially now with Donald Trump. And it doesn't, nothing matters anymore. Everyone's worried about, oh, I got brand safety and everything. Do you know how long that shit lasts when someone gets out? And now people don't even pay attention if somebody gets outraged. It's gone in a week. There was someone who was upset with me about Charlie Kirk and one of the advertisers. And then a week later, no one cares. 2 weeks later, nobody cares. And so I think companies should start believing in the Constitution and acting as if there is a Constitution and stop being so fucking scared about everything. And I think that executives who sit there, especially if you're an executive of color, if you're a minority, if you're a woman, you need to learn to take a stand because there are people who probably wouldn't advertise around somebody who was speaking up for women's rights. There's probably not an advertiser who didn't want to advertise around the civil rights movement in the 60s, right? There's probably advertisers who, not probably, there are advertisers who didn't want to advertise around same-sex marriage. Well, that's all bullshit. And so I say to advertisers or anyone in this room, get a backbone. Learn to stand up. Learn from what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. Because if you don't support people, then I think people are going to start realizing that your money, the company's money is their money. We're giving our money to you. People were giving their money to Disney and ABC because they wanted that product, but when they started taking that money back, they're like, oh shit. So I just say, learn to stand up, and then, because the truth always rules out. And I think that that's good if a company can have a backbone, if a company takes a stand. I think people have more respect for it. That's it.
We need to put that on repeat, cut that as a clip, show it to every brand, ASAP. Look, yo, that's all the time we got done. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is incredible.
I will come back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you all. Like and subscribe to The Don Lemon Show on YouTube.